Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rifts. They're back with a Xayah supplementary guide, and now this one, we just made a minor change to Xayah's build. Now as you guys can see, we still go for the Storm Razor, we still go for the Infinity Edge as our first 2-item power spike. Basically, whichever ADC can go for this item 2-item power spike will go for the 2-item power spike. But the main change that we made here is that we've actually swapped out firstly the Gluttonous Greaves for defensive boots, so you can either go for the Plated Steel Caps or the Merc Treads depending on what you need for that game. But as you guys can see, we actually swapped out the Statikk Shiv, instead going for the Bloodthirster. And I will have to say that although with this build I feel like you do just a little bit less damage, but with that sustain from the Bloodthirster, I actually feel that this build is better than the Statikk Shiv build that I went through in my updated complete guide. So of course that build is still very viable, and it is still really good as well. So that is still the latest updated complete guide. This is not going to be another updated complete guide. This is just a supplementary guide, but personally between the two builds, I think I do prefer this one. So after getting the Bloodthirster for, of course, the sustain, then you would go for the Mortal Reminder, which just recently got buffed as well. And that is, of course, for the Grievous Wounds, because basically Serelda's Grudge doesn't work too well on Xayah. And lastly, we go for the GA, of course, for the Revive. So the boot enchant generally will be either Proto Belt or Xayah's. Now you do already have a GA and an ultimate, so you don't always need to go for a Xayah's. You can actually go for a Proto Belt instead for mobility. I believe I do that in this video, or the gameplay part of the video, I guess I could say. And lastly, for the GA, if you want to replace it with an item, like if you don't like building GA, or if your GA is down and you have extra gold, you can of course replace it with the Statikk Shiv. So for the runes, of course, we go for Conqueror. Don't think I need to explain this one too much. Basically, whoever can take Conqueror will, because Conqueror is simply the best rune in terms of damage. Then we, of course, go for Hunter Vampirism because we want more lifesteal, and that is pretty much just the best option for that one. And as usual, for the second Resolve rune, you have a choice between Hunter Titan if you want the Tenacity, or you can also choose between Bone Plating if you want anti-burst, or even Adaptive Carapace if you want to have a stronger laning phase. And lastly, of course, we have the Hunter Genius, because Xayah is of course very cooldown reliant with the pullback of her feathers in particular. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for the runes. And for the spells, of course, we take Flash and Exhaust. You can also get Barrier if you prefer over Exhaust. So with all that out of the way, you can quickly just jump straight into the gameplay. Alright, so here we have the gameplay, and now this is a really epic game. So reason why I say that is basically me and Xayah end up carrying our team. You will see that a little bit later on, but this is a very interesting game. So basically, I gotta give you guys a little bit of the backstory. Now first up, you guys can see Master Yi is actually starting Raptor, so we're not gonna actually be needing to leash him. Xayah sort of hasn't really connected to the game yet. I am dual queue with the Xayah, so he was having some internet issues. But yeah, so basically what happened is my team was first pick. Obviously, as you guys can see, we're blue side, and the Riven was the first person in the pick, and the Master Yi was the second person. So Master Yi tried to swap with the Riven to pick Master Yi first, because Master Yi, as you guys know, is banned and picked by a lot of people. Now, I will say that after he got his AD ratios nerfed, I have tested him out, and I really don't think he's that strong anymore. So if I make a tier list on this patch, or in my future tier list, I'll definitely be dropping him down by a significant margin. Although I might need to test a little bit further on that, but I don't think he's that strong. Regardless of whether he is strong or not, that's a different argument. But there's no argument about his popularity, that he is very often picked and banned, even in a little bit of higher elos. Now this game is in High Emerald, Low Diamond, so it is a pretty interesting one. So basically, the Riven actually just first picked Riven, and the Master Yi got a little bit pissed about that, and the Riven got pissed in return because Riven thinks that Master Yi is a very poor champion. So Master Yi gets pissed that Riven doesn't want to give him the Master Yi. So either way, Master Yi does manage to pick up Master Yi eventually, because the enemy team did not pick it. But of course, it's a replay, so you guys can't see the chat. But basically, the two of them are going to be flaming each other the whole time. Leads to basically Riven starts feeding, Master Yi starts feeding, both unintentionally at start. And yeah, so here, anyways, we're gonna look at the at what happens in the lane. Nothing too much, honestly. But basically, eventually, Riven gets pissed and she starts running it down, literally, like feeding the enemies kills. So it's not going to be a very easy game for us. So that's sort of just what I wanted to get out of the way. You guys will see based on their behavior a little bit later. Anyways, here, I stuck around taking the fruit, and I do actually manage to pick up the first blood because I chose not to complete my recall. So we're off to a good start. Of course, getting first blood is always a good thing. So here Varus is stuck under tower. Master Yi wants to go for a dive on the Varus, but our wave has just run out. So I'm trying to push in the wave as fast as possible so that we can get the wave to tank for us. Master Yi has utterly no patience and instead decides to just go in by himself without the wave. And because of that, Varus manages to trade the kill onto him because the tower shot did trigger. So here Alistar comes back into the lane. He's trying to finish off the Janna, who's 1 HP. Janna just trying to survive. I exhaust the Alistar so he doesn't actually kill the Janna. Janna procs the slow, and we managed to finish off Alistar with a auto attack. So really spicy chain of events really happening here, all leading from that Master Yi gank. So as you guys can see, 2-0 and 1, we got a really good start. Master Yi 0, 1 and 2, still not too bad. Like nothing egregious has really happened here yet. Riven of course has already had 1 death to the Renekton. But nothing too egregious is happening yet, but you'll see that the game takes a huge turn for the worst. So because we got 2 kills already, we can easily pick up our Stormrazor and get ourselves back into the lane. Janna actually rushes the Locket in this match, so really good defensive item. Riven dies again, this time to an Evelynn gank. So Riven not having the best time in the world already. Alright, so here we're just gonna hit over back into the lane. And yeah, so both Dragon and Herald are of course spawning in about 10 seconds. It is a Cloud Dragon, which in my opinion is the most important dragon, particularly since we have like champions like Riven and Master Yi who value movement speed, as well as champions who don't want to give movement speed on the enemy team like Renekton and Alistar. Speaking of Alistar, he's in trouble, so we switch focus from Alistar to Varus with the Stormrazor slow as well, and Varus has no mana, so we recall the feathers, get the kill on Alistar, as well as the Varus off the pullback. But unfortunately, Evelynn does happen to be in the area, and she does manage to finish off the Janna. Nothing I could really do there. Of course, Exhaust was on cooldown, but either way, I think that the execute from Evelynn's ultimate would have gotten the kill on Janna, whatever it was. So either way, it's still not the worst in the world. We managed to trade 2 for 1 there. Janna trading for both the enemy bot laners, and I'm 4-0 and 1. So really doing well at this point in time. Actually, this match, I actually went for the Gluttonous Greaves just because I was a little bit on autopilot instead of getting something more useful like one of the defensive boots. But hey, you know, you can never really have too much lifesteal, I guess you could say. In the meantime, the Evelynn has managed to secure the Cloud Dragon. Unfortunately, not too much we can do about that. Here I'm going on to Varus, but I see Janna and Alistar in a little bit of a skirmish. So I do end up rotating over. Evelynn, in the meantime, trying to secure the Scuttle Crab. So it becomes sort of like a skirmish in the river. Our Katarina is here as well. Varus' ultimate manages to transfer onto me, unfortunately. I do finish the kill onto Alistar, and I'm chasing for the Varus. Barely not managing to pick up the kill, but Katarina is. Here you guys can see I used my ultimate to evade Evelynn's E damage. So here, just trying to get off some damage onto the 2 of them. Unfortunately, Galio is 1 HP. Master Yi starts tanking tower, realizes he can't do it. I start tanking tower. Honestly, if Renekton stunned me there, I think I would have died under the tower, but he chose to go for Master Yi instead, and he does pick up a double. So instead, I remain safe, and I'm just going to pick up the fruit and farm the mid lane minions. So, kind of a little bit greedy by me and Master Yi to chase the 1 HP Galio, but he was 1 HP after all. Unfortunately, Renekton did come over for the to help him out, and that led to the whole play kind of falling apart. So you guys can see, at this point in time, Riven is 0, 4 and 0, Master Yi is 0 and 3 and 2. Both of them have no kills and a ton of death. So at this point in the game, 2 of them are flaming each other. Riven has basically had enough, and she's just saying that I'm going to be feeding, and that's exactly what she ends up doing. And yeah, it's not going to be a too fun of a game. Now, I have 5 and 0, and with 2 assists as well, but when you have like 2 people arguing on your team, and basically one of them like running it down on purpose, it's never going to go too well. So yeah, so here we're just going to take a look at what happens. Not going to spoil too much else. So here you guys can see Riven running it down. She's going to be running straight at the enemy, outside the enemy tower. She's just going to AFK right outside the enemy tower, waiting for the enemies to come and kill her. And the whole enemy team does come and kill her, of course. So in the meantime, now, there's really nothing much you can do if your teammate just decides to feed. Now we still of course have a very good chance of winning this game because firstly we have a fed Xayah, secondly we have a Master Yi late game, and we also have a Katarina which at the drop of a hat can easily win as the team fight. So we're still doing really well. Now here Galio comes in with his ultimate. I ult so that I don't get CC'd by him. I root him to the spot so he can't get near to taunt me, and I'm just basically trying to kite them out. Now Evelyn shows up to the party as well. It's basically 4v2 at the moment. I do get the root. Evelyn, really nice ultimate to escape there. And here I'm trying to finish off the Varus. Janna does manage to finish off the Varus. Riven back in the party flashes over to steal the kill onto the Galio. And does get the shutdown on the Galio as well. Katarina does manage to mop up the rest of the fight for a double kill. So as you guys can see at this point in time, my team is still able to win fights relatively easily. Now Master Yi, for some reason, decides to go in on Renekton, who is like 5, 1, and 3 at this point in time. He's unstoppable. 2 items completed on Renekton already. No one is going to be able to 1v1 that Renekton. So yeah, it's just not going to work out. So here Riven pretty much sees we have a little bit of hope, so she kind of stops outright feeding after this, but the flaming continues throughout the whole match between the Master Yi and the Riven. So yeah, normal solo queue, you know, occurrences in ranks or just in Wild Rift in general. Not too much we can do about it. So we're gonna have to try to take advantage of the fact that the Riven is just running straight at the enemies, as well as the Master Yi kind of just running it down. Now Master Yi is not actually running it down on purpose, but he is feeding. So he is, how do you say, he's not the most experienced player, so he just goes in at times he shouldn't go in, and etc. So we really can't do anything about that. So what we can actually do is take advantage of the fact that Master Yi and Riven are running straight at the enemies, and we have a Janna to peel for us. So what we want to do is, when the two of them go in, we want to take that opportunity to free fire onto the enemy team and lay down our feathers so that we can try our best to make something happen as the fed member of our team. As we can see, the Mountain Dragon is up and the whole enemy team is in position to go for it. Now, I made the executive decision that there is no sense in contesting a Mountain Dragon, which is the worst dragon in the game. So instead, I just recall, I complete my Infinity Edge. I have my 2 item Power Spike, 5, 0, and 4 at this point in the game. Protobelt completed as well for the mobility, so I have a really good chance of being able to carry my team as long as they are not, you know, feeding too badly, I guess you could say. So here, just gonna clear out the mid lane, and yeah. So as I said, the goal of this game is when we see Master Yi and Riven going in, we want to take that opportunity to free fire onto the enemy team. Considering how fed we are and we have 2 full items already at our disposal, we should be able to easily you know, do some heavy damage to the enemy team as long as we're not being focused by the enemy team. Alright, so here we want to play safe, not get caught. Rift Herald coming up in 20 seconds. So, you know, we can see if we can do anything about that, but it's not the worst in the world to give up a Rift Herald. So we have to see what we can do. Whole enemy team is hovering around the Rift Herald area. Master Yi is straight up just backing. Renekton comes over the wall. And here, as you can see, they're focusing the Katarina. So at the same time, I'm trying to free fire onto them as they're focusing Katarina, they're focusing Riven, they're focusing Janna. Evelyn dies to the tower because she tried to ult out. Here Riven goes in, they're focusing the Riven again. So here, yet again, I'm going to try to free fire onto them. As you can see, I'm flashing forward. Here is my opportunity to clean up the fight. I go godlike. I managed to miss the ward in the bush. Let's pretend it did not happen. Either way, Master Yi goes in and does manage to finish off the kill onto the Galio. So that is nearly a clean ace. Only the Alistar is left alive. Now this gives us a Rift Herald for free. So as you can see, we're trying to follow through and execute with the plan that basically we want the enemy team to be focusing anybody but us. Whoever the enemy team focuses, as long as it's not me, we can carry the fight. So it doesn't matter if they're focusing Katarina, Janna, Master Yi, or Riven. They focus somebody that's not me, I can free fire onto them from the back and I can carry the fight with my damage. So here, it's kind of a scuffed situation here. As you can see, I'm going to ult to try to avoid Evelyn, Protobelt away, root the Evelyn, and we actually managed to get a kill on the Evelyn off of that. But let me explain what was the mistake there. I activated my W for the movement speed in order to try to get the tower, but unfortunately it sort of caused me to aggro the Alistar. Here Renekton is onto me. I'm trying to root him, trying to kite him out with the help of Janna's shields and Janna's movement speed, but unfortunately I don't manage to do so, and Renekton does manage to finish off the kill onto me. But yeah, so that attack speed that I got from my W actually caused me to aggro onto the Alistar for some reason. I was tapping my tower button, by the way, but I don't know if it's the strike true or what, but it caused me to aggro the Alistar, which caused me to start tanking tower. I still wanted to finish off the tower, which I did manage to do, but I took like 2 tower shots, I believe, because of that. Evelyn showed up and nearly got the kill on me, but thankfully I had my ult up, which allowed me to escape and actually get the kill onto Evelyn. So either way, we are 8-1 and 7 at the moment. We did give the shutdown over to the Renekton, which you could see it as a good and bad. The good news is that Renekton is already the most fed member, and that goal is going to make him even more fed. That's the good/bad news, because it depends on how you want to see it. At least the shutdown didn't go to anybody else who could, get from a position where they're not fed to getting actually fed. For example, Evelyn or Varus. But honestly, to me, I think giving Renekton shutdown is the worst, because you don't want to make the most fed member of the enemy team more fed. Sort of like how the enemies don't want to die to me because I'm already so fed. They don't want to make me even more fed. Alright, so either way, Renekton is off on the split push, and really our team macro is really not good here. I'm gonna have to back to respond to the Renekton split push while the dragon is going to spawn. Now that's a very good split push by Renekton to force someone to respond to it, because if not he could just easily keep going and take inhibitor. Now this means that I won't be with my team to contest the dragon, which also means that my team shouldn't be contesting the dragon because they cannot win the fight without me. I'm basically not trying to toot my own horn here, but basically I'm the only chance my team has is of winning the fight. Because Riven and Master Yi are both feeding. Katarina, she needs to come in to clean up a fight. She can't win the fight by herself, and Janna is just a support. So we really need me to win the fight. Thankfully, I managed to get my Bloodthirster and managed to come back to the fight. So here, as you can see, same strategy again. We're waiting for them to focus the Riven, focus the Master Yi, and meanwhile I'm free firing at the back. I go for it, flash forward with my ultimate to finish off the kill. And then I finish off another kill, and somehow I managed to survive with 1 HP, and we do manage to win that fight. So only Renekton is left alive. Obviously that is the key member we actually wanted to kill because he does have the huge shutdown. Unfortunately we don't manage to do so, but it doesn't matter because we won a fight for nothing. So we're really getting back into the game at this point in time, and you can see that my team even has a goal lead of 3k on the enemy team, although they do have 3 dragons compared to our none. Alright, so here, they're actually pinging for Baron, because the whole enemy team is still dead and they're still respawning, so we do have a window of opportunity to just burst the Baron down before anybody can really sort of respond to the Baron. So here we are 5-man just going for the Baron. Janna pops the Monsoon for the heal, and we can see Varus in the mid lane, the whole enemy team just respawning. Of course, Renekton tries to go one-man army to try to stop the Baron, but unfortunately that was a very poor decision by him and leads to him donating his shutdown over to our team. Alright, so here we have our 3-item power spike. We even have the Moral Reminder completed already to counter the Renekton and his healing from the Death's Dance as well as the Blade of the Rune King. So obviously we're going to take red buff because Master Yi is utterly useless, and red buff is not going to help him all that much, at least compared to me. Alright, so here we're just going to take the Skull Crab to secure the vision. Now I'm not sure if you guys can hear this in the background, but there's a little bit of construction going on all of a sudden as I'm halfway through recording this video. So hopefully you guys can't hear that. Hopefully it wouldn't affect the quality of the video too much. And if it does, I of course apologize. But not too much I can do about that. So here we're just going to use the Baron buff and take this opportunity to push down a tower. You can see that there is some shenanigans happening in the mid lane. So in the meantime, I'm going to take this opportunity to just push down the tower and get some guaranteed standing goal. So here I'm trying to rotate over. Alistar cutting me off, so I can't just simply walk right into him. If not, I'm just going to get CC'd. He goes to CC my team, so I'm going to finally be able to rotate over. Katarina is on the chase for the 1 HP Evelyn. We're not going to waste time chasing the 1 HP Evelyn. Instead, we're just going to go for, the enemy bot lane over here. I get hit-butted into the tower by Alistar. I have to pop the ult. Here I'm trying to focus the Varus, and here I actually exhausted the Varus a little bit too late. I didn't think he would do so much damage, but it turns out that he did. So should have popped that exhaust earlier, but I ended up actually dying to him. Now I'm 11, 2, and 10. And Varus is actually playing on hit. So if you guys notice, he has a Storm Razor, a Runaan's Hurricane, and an Infinity Edge. So he's not going for the normal lethality Varus, which is why I kind of underestimated his damage on his auto attacks. I was thinking that, you know, there's no way that a lethality Varus can kill me just by auto attacking, but it turned out it wasn't a lethality Varus. Now that was completely my bad for not paying attention to what he was building. I just defaulted to thinking he would go for the standard lethality Varus build. That was not the case, and it caused me to die. I paid for it with my life. But you know, off that death, we do manage to pick up the Moral Reminder and Cloth Armor, of course, building toward GA. Now Riven here gets caught 1v4. Xayah does manage to trade the kill onto the Alistar, so we do have that. But yeah, so here we're really trying really hard to carry our team. And of course Elder Dragon is up, which is a very important objective. We don't want the enemy team to get that, because if they get that with 3 dragons already, you know, game is pretty much going to be over. So here we find a pick onto the Galio. And Katarina gets a reset off that. Resets onto the Varus and gets a reset off of that. So basically 3 members of the enemy team are dead. The best course of action here, especially since Evelyn is still alive, is to just push down mid lane and just get the mid lane inhibitor. We have double cannon, so we should be able to do that. As you guys can see, we do manage to successfully do that. Renekton here coming in, gets tornadoed by the Janna, and here I'm just DPSing him, rooting him. He does manage to die to my bird, so there he goes. And here Evelyn is up, and as well as the Alistar. Alistar combos me under the tower, and there goes Evelyn, gets killed by Katarina, and here we're still trying to force end the game. In the meantime, Master Yi does manage to pick up the Elder Dragon as an insurance policy, but we realize we can't quite end the game. So instead we're gonna fall back onto the Baron. The enemy team's gonna have to deal with that huge wave in mid, at least for the time being. So here we're just gonna back reset and get some items first, I guess. Or will we? Right, Janna does manage to back and reset, but so here Riven tanks the Baron, and I'm going to be able to do the Baron. Now Master Yi is on the opposite side of the map for some reason. Really poor by Master Yi. He has no idea what he's doing, but here one good thing about Xayah is that you can actually secure objectives using your feathers. So here you guys can see I'm laying down them feathers, and when it gets low, I'm just going to pull back to just secure the Baron itself. So I have actually managed to outsmite some junglers just from my feathers alone. So that is a thing that, you know, that happens, you know, from time to time. And I'm just going to pick up the blue buff, because why not? It's obviously going to be better on me than anybody else, considering I'm 12, 2, and 13. So yeah, so here I'm just going to back because I do have my GA. So here, GA completed.
I deserve it.
There we go. And yeah, full build at this point in time. So basically I have, you know, I have my ult up, I have my GA, 2 layers of security for me. I'm not going to be dying anytime soon. And here with the Baron buff, we basically just want to end the game at this point in time. So here, whole team 5-man barreling down mid. We're just gonna go ahead and try our best to end the game. Master Yi ends up going top for some reason. As usual, he's not where he needs to be. And there ends up being sort of a fight happening in the top lane. Well, in the meantime, Katarina is picking off the Varus. Galio finds himself caught. Katarina double kill. Triple kill by Katarina. This could have been a pentakill for Katarina, but Riven did take the kill on the Alistar, and we're just gonna end the game. So yeah, there we go. We pretty much carried our team throughout the early and mid game. Katarina did start coming back a little bit in the late game, but yeah, so there we go. As for the 3 of us, and thank you guys for watching the video. I'll leave you guys with the stats as usual, and goodbye.